We are all going to die. Hopefully not today, or anytime soon for that matter, but as living beings we will all ultimately meet our fateful end. But will that be the entire end of all things for us, or will it serve as a transitional phase into something else? Raise your hand if you've ever spent time thinking about what may or may not happen once we die. Well, many religions will hold a notion that once we die, we will go to heaven or hell, or perhaps purgatory. The Egyptians and the Greeks believed in the underworld, and many other spiritual philosophies believe in reincarnation. Or perhaps that will ultimately be the entire end of all things for us, and our experience will just simply cease to be. But the interesting thing about looking back throughout all of humanity and history is that spiritual and religious philosophies have always been the norm, not the exception. What is it about humanity's propensity to gravitate towards spiritual beliefs, and what role did the mysterious psychedelics play in all of this? In the Rig Veda, an ancient Hindu text, Hinduism being the oldest religion known to mankind, a potion known as soma is discussed, in which its ingester would be imbued with immortality. The Aztecs and the Mayans participated in psilocybin mushroom rituals, and the Mayans crafted artsy mushrooms out of their stones. The Egyptians depicted the blue lotus flower throughout a lot of their artwork, a known psychedelic, and in the Immortality Key, Brian Muraresku discusses, to quote him directly, how the best and the brightest of Greece and Rome would flock to Ulysses, the spiritual capital of the ancient world, to essentially meet the goddess in the flesh and have these mind-expanding, visionary experiences in which they would experience death. And the brews they would ingest of beers and wines were spiked with ergot, the fungus that contains LSD. In his modern-day psilocybin trials, Dr. Roland Griffiths conducted many experiments on participants who were given the equivalent of 5 grams of psilocybin mushrooms, a very large dose. And he was astonished to find out that 70% of participants rated this experience as one of the top 5 most meaningful experiences in their lives, and 50% of the participants rated it as the number 1 most meaningful experiences in their lives, relating it to something like the birth of a child, or the death of a parent, or a marriage ceremony. They also describe their experiences as being more real and more true than everyday reality. In his book Entangled Life, Merlin Sheldrake discusses how these trials and experiments reliably induce mystical experiences. A mystical experience defined as feelings of awe, of an interconnectedness between all things, of a transcending of time and space, and of a profound intuitive understanding of the nature of reality. He goes on to quote Michael Pollan, who states that he interviewed many people who had these psychedelic experiences, and a lot of them started off as stone-cold materialists or atheists, but after their psychedelic experiences, they were gripped with the unshakable conviction that there is something more than we know and a beyond that transcends this physical universe. In his experiments with DMT, Dr. Rick Strassman intravenously administered DMT to many participants. DMT is also endogenously found in the human brain and many different plants and even other animals. But what was commonly found when DMT was administered intravenously in large doses was an experience of a sensation of blasting off, breaking through a veil of some sort, and entering into another dimension that feels more real than this objective reality, and more often than not being greeted with entities that met them with curiosity and bestowed wisdom upon them. Now, these findings provide us with more questions than they do answers, but what is it about psychedelics why should they produce these mystical experiences, and why is it that they exist throughout all of the natural kingdom? From fungi to cactus to toad and even humans, psychedelics simply occur naturally throughout all of the world, and why is it that they should be compatible with the human nervous system? In conclusion, there are many different ideas we can conceptualize about what may happen after we die. But if we want to look at things through a materialistic, rational framework, nothing should exist. The only thing that makes perfect logical sense is if nothing is all there ever was. Material reality couldn't have emerged from nothing, and it couldn't have existed for all of time. But that is the irrationality of rational stance on reality, for we do exist in a world that shouldn't be. And I will end things off with a quote from Albert Einstein, who stated, "The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. He to whom the emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead, his eyes closed." Any questions?
Are you implying that religion exists only because of psychedelics?
Not only because of psychedelics, but I am implying that they play a central role in most religions.
Okay. I didn't think of another one. Wait, were those Albert Einstein's last words?
No, just a quote.
Oh. What's up, Tim?
No more questions? Okay, I'll take it.